Okay, this is Purple Pingers. He is a socialist, probably communist, Marxist, and a lot of these guys, they're like trendy inner city, possibly gay type guys that are a little bit confused what the definition of socialism is, and they don't really understand how the economy works. You would call them leftist, but I don't want to. Let's just hear what he has to say about the 31st of August march. We're having these anti-immigration marches, and he's going to have his take. I want to hear it, and let's break it down.
The Nazis have claimed responsibility for organising the racist anti-immigration march for Australia on August 31st. They're also very angry that people who are not white Australians are expressing support for and planning to attend.
Also, Purple Pingers is a reference towards drugs, so he's probably on drugs. This is the political discourse in Australia. Immigrants that are in Australia and want to attend the anti-immigration protest, which really is a white man protest, but I have no problem with them turning up, because a lot of immigrants to Australia, they know that they wanted to escape their own kind within their own countries. They wanted to come to a wealthy country built by white men. And that is smart. And now that they're in, they don't want any more third world trash from the country that they actually came from, even though it's from their own race. They don't want any more of their own people coming in, because they just spent all this time and money and effort trying to escape their own people so that they can live in a wealthy society. They don't want it being crushed. You see, so this is why. And this is very common with Mexicans that get into the United States. They're actually anti-immigration because they want to keep their own people out, because they're onto a good thing. They're rich in the United States, same as immigrants to Australia.
And this rally that they've organised. So this is a reminder that if you are planning on attending the March for Australia on August 31st, you are going to a Nazi rally that is organised by Nazis. One of the other organisers of this rally...
Oh, this is outrageous. This is really... White men are now unsafe. All of our wealth that we've built up is under attack by all of these people from different races and different countries. We need to stop the boats now. No more shit immigration to Australia. None. As someone who's living abroad now, I'm living in Asia, I'm a second-class citizen. These people judge me based on my race, and they treat me like absolute dog shit over in Asia, and it's only going to get worse. So we've got almost nowhere left to go if we get flooded and just sunk with third world shit in Australia. We are finished as a people.
There's a guy called Ozpill who had...
And people like this, they don't understand that. They're not that smart. They seem smart, but they're short-sighted. They can't see 3-4 phases ahead. These are the same people that were saying that lockdowns are good because they're socialists. The vaccine's good. Now everyone knows that the lockdowns were not good, and the lockdowns only protected the boomers and increased the property prices with inflation, and now everyone's suffering from it. And Purple Pingers is one of the guys that became famous because of the shortage of property and the property prices, and he was promoting squatting. That's how he got famous. But he was the type of guy, I believe, I'm not exactly sure, but I believe he was, I have to fact check that, that was very much pro lockdown and vaccines and taking away, basically fascist totalitarian state, which is also why these people are confused what they are and where they stand, because they don't have a depth of understanding.
Has known Nazi NSN connections. He's also the son of the director of the largest residential property developer in Australia, who lives in a $17 million mansion in Toorak, and who brags about in their annual reports about how many thousands of empty homes they have land banked all across Australia. And this gets me to the point that I want to make in this video, and that's that immigrants are not the cause of our housing crisis.
Yes, they are. Because during the lockdowns, property prices and rents collapsed by 50%, by the way. If all the immigrants were kicked out and everything stopped overnight, you'll be paying 50% less rent than you're paying right now. Fact.
Or our cost of living crisis. No data supports that. In fact, the data shows
Data. You have to be intelligent to use data.
the exact opposite of this. The number of dwellings is growing faster than the population in Australia. In the last 10 years, we
I don't believe that data. That just cannot be true.
have built more dwellings than we've had households form. That's just raw data. The real cause of our cost of living crisis are the bosses and the banks who are deliberately keeping our wages down so that they can increase their profits.
Okay. This is evidence of how unintelligent these people are. How do you keep wages down? Well, you have more workers so that the bosses and the large companies have more leverage. If you don't want to work, they will hire an immigrant. If there's fewer immigrants, they have no choice but to pay you. And then, because they only have to pay you, they have to pay you more. And the fact that he missed this is a little bit suspicious, actually. The fact that someone, I don't think he's a genius. I don't think he got into Mensa like myself. I don't think he's really studied economics. But he's smart enough to see that, because that's how the unions work. The unions, their job is to create scarcity so that they can increase the wages of their members. This is what all good socialists and communists understand. This is one of the fundamental tools that they use. That's what Marxism was basically built around. For him to miss this basic point makes me wonder, is Purple Pingers getting paid off by someone as well? We got you know what's really suspicious here? We got the Nazis here, which are attacking white men. That's a psyop. If you're labeled a Nazi, you don't have any rights. And so if you're a white man complaining about your house being taken away, your parents getting murdered, your job being taken away, all these immigrants bashing you in the street, and they label you a Nazi, they can actually do it to you. On the flip side, if you're a socialist and you just ignore this while pushing the Nazi narrative, seems like they're in on this.
Their profits have increased astronomically over the past 10 years, while our real wages have declined by about 14 years. And those responsible for our...
And the wages decline because they have an unbelievable amount of people that will do the job for a cheaper wage. And he knows this. Surely he knows this. If he doesn't know this, he's dumber than I thought. But I think that he's highly unlikely he's that dumb. Nobody's that dumb. This guy's paid opera. This guy's like working for someone.
Housing crisis are property investors. People like those organising this fucking racist rally who are trying to divert your attention from them to migrants. The people responsible...
That doesn't make any sense. Maybe he's taken too many purple pingers. By reducing the immigrants, we get paid more because the bosses of these large companies have to pay us whatever we demand because we're the only workers there. And also, if we're Australians and we believe in freedom, we're more likely to fight them, argue, negotiate for higher wages. We get higher wages, there's fewer immigrants clogging up our properties, and then the property prices drop and we get paid more, which is basically the exact same situation that our parents found themselves in, and boomers. He should know this. I believe that he does know this, but he's just lying. He has to be lying.
For our housing and our cost of living crisis are supported and enabled by successive weak governments who have done things like introduce anti-strike laws to try and stop us from doing something about our real wage decline.
Yeah, exactly. So striking, which is union, which is workers getting together and organising themselves. That's what these protests are about. white men, which are a minority in the world, let alone in Asia, and soon to be a minority within our own country that we built. And he's trying. You notice that nothing he just said makes any sense? So the Nazis are running this anti-immigration protest to distract and blame immigrants because the property prices are going up. But the whole point of it is to reduce the amount of immigrants or stop immigration altogether because we don't have enough stock. But he thinks that we're building so many new houses. If we're building more houses than immigrants are coming in, then shouldn't property prices be falling? And his argument is that the large companies that use all the migrant workers to make massive properties are land banking it. There's a massive hole in his thinking here, because collapsing the property market would then, by stopping immigrants coming in, would then not make it worthwhile for them to land bank properties in the first place, because they wouldn't be making a profit. There'll be no capital gains on their investment. It all goes back to too many immigrants. And why? I just don't understand why he's lying and trying to create this false narrative here, unless he's working for someone or being paid off. Is this Purple Pingers guy now paid off by someone? Like, there's no money on social media. Someone like myself, I've been around at least 7 years, 6 or 7 years longer than this guy. I've seen a lot of things. You know, this is my decade. I've been on social media a decade talking politics. You know, there's not much money in this. You do it because you love your country. Some people sell out. Many people do sell out. Who's he sold out to?
Have provided things like various tax incentives so that they can profit more and more from housing at our expense. The housing and cost of living crisis are legitimate concerns that working class people have and should have, but we should also know that migrants are not to blame. The rich...
So the rich are increasing the property prices, and migrants coming in is good for us, even though migrants live in those houses and compete with us to rent those houses. Sorry, I just don't get it. I don't understand what he's saying there. I just don't get it at all. Shutting down immigration will actually decrease the problem. Yeah, he's definitely paid off.